Okay, so let's take in what we learned. Let's get bigger here. I want to be bigger. We'll be back to that later. I'll get Tom if I want to figure it out. So, well, just real quickly, you can just throw Tom up. I'm already on Scal. I only changed one X and Y, but you can always kind of use him for doing stuff, which is important to my conversation. So while I'm fixing this real quickly, just listen to me. This is a $300. This is a $300 thing. You know, like I said, that's as small as I can make it, given the increments, and I know it's got to be there. Close enough. $300 computer. You can also do that with a cell phone. You know, you get a burner cell phone. I can do most of this on here. Obviously, I got some issues with setting a lot of this up and the screen capture with everything, which isn't exactly fundamental for this. And again, this isn't Zoom, but it's pretty close. Or any augmented technology that goes to doing that type of material. Let me get bigger with you here. Let me get big with you here for a moment. Come over a little bit so we're nice in the middle. Doing this, like I said, this being a $300 invention, now you have all of that technology. Went down, it's a Droid OS down to Walmart for $290 something, $240 something with the guarantee or warranty or whatever, makes it about $300, $340 something like that. And so HP Chromebook is what it is. And you know, like I said, that's a real basic. There was some cheaper ones, but this one is right around there in the cheapest territory. This is right into live stream with computer engineering and editing. You know, it's a lot of what they have to make to be able to do their own home screen versions of it, which this is all jack. This is, you know, like I said, these are not the things you've bought. You had to do wires together before you figure out you're good enough to get it to really make that determination. Here, this is just my camera on screen record, you know, so you have to put wires together to see if that kind of result is something that you can actually beneficially use for the standards in here. Certainly you could. You get this kitty shooting across the room on you. So, like I said, yeah, change the universe. I got a mouse now. I'm over here right now. Hey, you're gonna do what this kitten tells you over here. At any rate, so $300 did wobbles. Now we're still quite a ways off on Excel for my training course. I mean, I'm gonna consider we got a fair bit to go about something. I'll do one for a pattern calculator. One I actually had used in the stone mill, and I'll actually take you to those. We can go to those videos. I should have them, but that's all right. They all work to the same standard. Is Johnson? Click. Go away, Tom. Alright, so we can go right back to the place where I actually used those pattern calculators and did some other things on here for being able to determine, you know, a lot about that stuff. And now I can actually kind of discuss that material well doing. No, where's the top of it here? Top of the key. So, this person over here, I'm sure we've seen him before. He's doing stuff. He's going at it, pressing buttons and making stuff happen inside here. That's what a lot of the day is. I mean, you get a lot of this for a programmer, and at least it's a note that I come up. So I'm trying to reevaluate that analysis, or at least what do we got here? Let's go actually to somewhere where I've been before on the internet. This is not my only page. I have several. You know, we can get into one of my favorites, the Secrets of a Master Mason, Unified Field Theory, Bow-Staff stuff. You know, Class B, Rubik's Cube, video resumes. These are, what, little boxes on cells? Mine and Zcoin inside of here, bits, bytes, and hots and colds and ones and zeros. So, yeah, this is a time dilation paradox on multi-superworld position. And you'll hear me say some things about that. And it's in the process. How to do the daisy pattern is this. What we are doing here is the daisy pattern. And so, you know, somebody do that bunny rabbit to you not paying attention. And that's all that code down here. And they make those boxes. And then you do all of this to make a physics engine. Let's do 3D graphics. APH. Okay, we'll go to 3D designs. So I would have you looking right here. Remember, everybody in the universe is out here looking at you. They know this is the one. I'm looking for the one I'm looking for. Hey, how you doing? That was fast. I know, probably the generator in there. But there was one basically. So you find one with whatever. Let's see. I don't want to take up too much time here. No. You go back. Alright, so you gotta remember those codes. That's location. It's like this is space. That's words. Those words are space. And they kind of give it XY. So if everything's designed on a physics engine, let's go back to Droid here. Bring me back real quick. Alright. So all that stuff, this is a physics engine. This is outputting a physics that looks like a box when you hit the play button. Right? Because we want to just collapse it down a little bit. Hit the play button inside of there. And that would correlate to half screen, full screen, half screen, I think. For what I'm looking for in terms of what it does. Now that might have locked it up real good, but now I know. Well, there's my Dalport Daily. It'll do stuff. It'll go to this page when I do stuff. And so that's a physics engine on what this information is about over here, because that's what it outputs. Now that seems like a lot of code. And that's where it just breaks down and it actually has an invisible line. We're moving this crap around. It's really important, figuring out these first basic steps. A hello droid. Well, wrong one. Well, there you'd need a 0 or a Z. I'd need like 7 when I go to rename it. Otherwise, it's in my wrong spot. And that's binary code. If I put 7 because zeros and T's and relative to 0, well, then it's going to come down here on the bottom end of that, and you wouldn't think about that structural engineering until you get into, well, why won't you put the strings together on the... you do stuff. So what else am I missing here? So world and physics engines. You'll see a guy, they'll be doing stuff, spreading stuff around, move stuff around. That's a click up and a down inside here of files that they're doing that they click on and then open back up into this thing. And so I want you to re-understand that this information, a lot of people aren't going to necessarily need that much hardline when most of the material is done for you. Basic graphics, 3D wrapping, texting, most of the names of the thing that you actually want to do are bar. They can be quantified. Well, that's a good example. Well, let's look up something. How to do 3D graphics. How to do. And did you do it? When I test your 1s and 0s later, and this isn't on your fucking search engine as a 1 and 0 in its proper location on this thing when I'm moving stuff around. 3D graphics. Maybe. There was a really cool one with like a guy he had a bus on there and he was making one. And it was this whole like zombie town or something like that. But let's take a look at something that's handy. First one I found. I could have the name wrong. The name is a little blinky light. It had 3 positions. And if you get that wrong, start over. That's a path on Droid forever now, and you mark it with a special 0 and 1 inside of here. And as you're going through Excel, I'm doing stuff that look like the stock market of, what do we got here? No, one more. Alright, go away. The foundation around here of manufacturing, energy, websites, entertainment, good transportation, manpower, which are their own kind of companies, right? You know, so they're in Excel as a name of a Excel. You get up here. Come fix you. And then we can spreadsheet this, right? You know, because I got names and I want to take those names and I want to be able to put them in here as video topics and titles of things that I've covered for electrical engineering, PowerPointing, Excelling. You know, there's a lot of categories. Well, that was good. Put a little Put a little 1 or 0 next to it. Let's see what we got here. Does this allow me to open this thing I want? Maybe? This maybe? No. It's on another one. I think it was on this one. I want my other file. You give it to me. Right now. Maybe you? No. Well, at any rate, in here, before I get to OCD, I might have deleted it. In terms of, which, when you're getting into, no, that, and you're doing that, that's, I don't want that either, god damn it. Alright, so when we get right here, there's gonna be, again, just a million everything. I've stripped this down, hello world, just to simple sets that actually work. But now that I've taken that out, create layout, there's other things that you can do, and you have to kind of write those all down. I don't know if it'll let me copy this. Actually, let me try this real quick. No, so it's not letting me copy nothing. I didn't want data, and every time I do something, it fucking deletes it. I want to reprogram you, droids. You do what I tell you. And of course, I wouldn't have any of the technical skills or ability at this point in time to be able to do any of that. So, yeah, that kind of sucks. But we got the tools. We'll figure it out by button clickies. We'll get there. But again, so that's that very first thing. Now you have a problem with functions. What do we do on start? We have button touches on touch start here, but is this always the start function? Well, by trial and error, there's only so many guesses. There's really a very subset, but they look all the same. Well, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to click onto this and do other things and forget about what I'm doing. Get that shit. Get out of here, Tom. And then there's other methodologies. You'll be chasing this thing around. You'll be in here. Oh, Snake AI. Oh, I want Snake AI. Oh, you do things. You come over here and it doesn't do things. And then maybe it's not because it doesn't work. Maybe it's because something else. You never know, really. I mean, there could be a lot of things. Maybe this thing doesn't like it to do something. And this is an AI. So this is Snake logic, I think. Or no, this is just regular Snake. Then you got to do things when you hit the screen, which you wouldn't think about it. All this program, I'm going to touch a button. I'm going to touch one of these buttons right here, the up, the down, the left, and the right, or A, W, D, X, to do this game. And this is going to explode on you if you don't have it written in there right somewheres. So the first things first, you change letters. All right, what do I know is things I can change, and that'll be based on what you know from your code over here, because otherwise you're hoping somebody to train you. And it's a little bit faster, but you kind of forget about the natural notation about those things, because you'll blow through this and you'll have problems bugging it, and you'll have problems with what the basic design is away from any basic template. You know, that these are what you know. You might know how to make an app, but that's not a physics engine. If I was making trainers to actually be able to utilize this and then strip it down to move it off, is again, we start with the that's not what I want. That would work, but not what I'm looking for right now. Level 7. I'm gonna get in here. Like I said, we're gonna strip all that away. This is your first set. No background. No background to your droid. That's why. Limiting it down of stripping. Can I do that? Will it let me now do that stuff? I didn't know I could do that. Why did you not do? Oh, because I want this. Okay, you can go away. Okay, so you can do that. We'll go back. Ah. How many do I got? Do I got more than one? Hold on. I know I'm glitchy. Alright, so no. I only had the one. I wish I could get double droids going, because then I could use this to take this and do this. That would be awesome. I can't do that. Which would be the part of this button right here I need to get rid of, because it doesn't give you a text window in here, and you can't cover this up. It has to be over here, and I just want... But for the sample trainings, it's absolutely critical. So like I said, I mean, you're going to go through all of these once you figured out. This is all I've done. I've never done any coding in my life. I never had really a laptop until about a month ago, right? I've had cell phones and stuff, and I sure as shit wasn't doing this, but within a few weeks, you should be able to rip all that down into these subparts, which will give you where the buttons are on the screen just by limiting it down to the buttons or where the text heading is. Don't do anything else if you don't know anything else. Later on, you could say, well, I learned that by going, well, what's the problem over here? Hit the play button, and there's a line on this code on this error that'll give you, oh, well, that's the multi. I had to strip this out, put the toggle into this category, or change it off into the list, but totally different. And as you work in that process, everything kind of goes in its tool cabinet for, I hope it's this one. You will do stuff for putting those toggles. I had a button, that's the first page, and now I've had a button with a button, and I can put stuff in here, and I can have text about that, or I could put an image in that file cabinet. So I have the tool, what code it is, plus I have some basic tutorial for it, which I can click, get all the parts out of it, strip all of the notes away from it, and be able to keep those two close enough together so that way when I go to program, I don't have to separate and pick everything out, or at least to tell by parts. Now that might not help anybody else looking at this, or help anybody else use this specific droid any more appropriately. To me, I might be able to make it do fancy things, but I mean, is it? So, catch you on the next one. Well, hopefully you're with me here. The next part is, like I said, as soon as you figure out this, it's not what's the next part. I didn't really tell you anything in here. The first part was the first part. You had to rip it down just to the first pins. This thing with this thing will give you a screen without an error. That is a blinky light. When you manage to do that and start adding one part to that, you will get to this part, and then you'll go, oh, well, it's the next thing. And I gave you kind of dark theme to get you to bridge the gap in here, so that way when we come in, we're going to come over to controls, and after we've added the button, the murder button inside here, murder button, I took out the spaces. Sorry, I didn't know. You got my murder button inside here, which is our hello murder button, and then we click it open, and it opens dark themes now, except for I've gone through this one and I've stripped it all away from what dark theme used to say, which is over here now. Click, and that'll say controls dialog list with this function right here, and we took this out. This is our first move. I could have done this individually just to take out, this. We want to keep the button. Controls, button. X gets us into controls. And here we ripped out all the rest of this extra code, so we can get into here and then have some basic functions, X, Y, and Z. Here it actually says somebody's name. They actually say names. Okay, it's going to say, instead of button, we want control. Oh, there's control. There's control. So that's where we're basically living. You either want to slide down here. And so you can see how different they're, while being the same, they're different. I've checked that spot. That's where it comes up. When I push this capital X, that they're not all capital X's, or I'm trying to correlate this line. When I see them down here acting differently, I've given myself on this page, which I need. It needed to do all this to limit it. After you get controls dark, you'll find that there's a puzzle inside of there about stuff of picking every button, cutting out parts, because those are the things you want to put in your tool cabinet. Those are the things on the electrical engineering controls. This is control. They're both the same thing on that Ethernet bit. See if we can. You know what I'm capable of. I'll leave it in my history video for right now. So in here, we and like I said, you cut all of that. You figure out which one, go through it one at a time. Click didn't work well, and so that makes sense. That I cut out a lot of things in here, and I left some things, and so brute force, you'll get through it. And then after you get this all done, like I said, I'm at the point where I'm trying to put the toggles back into here. So I have the spots. I know where the X's and Y's are. I have the tools easy to spell, or I can get them up in here where it's easy to have them without having to type, click, click, click. I can just click, input, do all this right over here, or because it's in here. Now later on, if we get into more complicated things, to being able to, well, what do I want to have in my complicated cabinet of things I have over here and learned in the universe about going through it and just everything. And like I said, you are at this point too. Really, you haven't even got really all the videos, all of the things. I haven't gotten away from just the basic droid, because like I said, that's that first. It's that first app button right there, right? You know, because what do I want to do? I want to create a layout. Do I want to add an image? Apps. Well, I mean, what? What about this one over here? Those are things when you go back through this and make those lists. What do you want to do? Spin the wheel of fate and just make a determination, and not all of them work. Some of them work with the button. Some of them work with the image. Some of them work with hello, and why you would need certain differentials of the spinner, the switch, the sync, or the whatever, create tabs or whatever. Some of them would be in that kind of housing, or at least the basic circuitry and diagnostic of cutting out that stuff. What I had in here that would augment the positions, the buttons next to high, or it's over dark controls here, right? I don't want it like that. I want to move it up. I want to do something with it. It would make a problem. But there, the boxes are going to be problems with each other, so you'd have to figure out how to do those things, because you'll click button and it'll be because of space, and you look at that thing, well, I should have pumped it out, and it was really, did I try all the numbers before I checked it off the list? Because if you don't, there's a high probability that they all look the same, all these blinky screens here. You know, this thing's blinking off over here. Well, I got stuff blinking off on this one of a certain, this one's doing good. This one's keeping count on its own count. Good here. The song's in the background making music. Well, anyway, not right now. I'll do that later. Don't want to have to type it too much. And you know, so like I said, that's going to give you the ability to play it here. This is what it should look like. Maybe from Hello World, there's something in Controls Light, or this is the card, that I want to do the card first. Well, what do you got to do? Well, I'd have to come back through there and make the base of it first, maybe. Maybe that's how you do the background on the control darks. Put it in the list. We'll get to it with the next one. Right now, we got any other bunnies banging around in here? Catch you on the next one.